Welcome to the pod key summary of what's new in Apple in-app purchase from WWDC 2026. Apple's making subscriptions a lot more flexible and a lot more structured at the same time. The big headline is a new way to sell annual subscriptions as monthly payments with a full 12-month commitment behind them, plus a bunch of StoreKit and App Store Connect updates that make pricing, redemption, and review workflows less clunky. There's also a clearer split between subscription bundles and suites, which sounds a little abstract until you realize it changes how products can actually be sold. The most consumer-facing change here is in iOS 26.5. Developers can now offer a 12-month committed annual subscription that's paid monthly. So the customer isn't paying the whole year up front, but they are still committing to the full year of service. That's a pretty meaningful middle ground, because it lowers the immediate price barrier without turning the product into a cancel anytime monthly plan. Developers set this up in App Store Connect, and when they sell it through StoreKit, they have to pass the .monthly billing plan type during purchase. Apple then shows a one-time disclosure sheet per Apple ID, so the customer sees exactly what they're signing up for. Inside the App Store experience, users also get built-in UI that shows remaining payments and renewal dates, which is one of those small quality-of-life details that probably saves a lot of confusion later. Alongside that, StoreKit gets a new pricing terms array on subscription info. This lists every billing plan available for a product, with .upfront as the default and .monthly covering the new commitment-based option. The important detail is that the array is only filled in when the customer's storefront actually supports that plan. So apps can dynamically show the pricing choices that are real for that customer, instead of hard-coding assumptions and hoping the storefront agrees. If an app uses SwiftUI subscription store view, Apple is smoothing that path out too. There's a new .preferred subscription pricing terms modifier that lets the view automatically filter and display specific billing plans, including .monthly. In plain English, developers can steer the subscription UI toward the version they want to emphasize without rebuilding the whole storefront by hand. There's also .manage subscription sheet, which brings Apple's built-in subscription management UI right into the app. That should make the handoff feel a lot less like sending somebody out the side door to deal with their billing settings. On the back-end side, transactions now expose commitment info when the billing plan type is monthly. That includes the commitment price, expiration, and how far along the customer is in that 12-month term. Renewal info also picks up renewal billing plan type and its own commitment info, which matters because servers can now detect whether a user is going to switch plans once the commitment ends. For developers, this is the difference between guessing what state a subscriber is in and actually knowing. Apple also drew a much sharper line between subscription bundles and suites. Bundles are collections of multiple subscriptions that can still be bought individually, but they're sold together at a discount. Suites work differently. Those subscriptions exist only as the collective package and can't be purchased separately. That distinction affects product design, pricing strategy, and how a catalog is presented to users. So it's more than just naming. Testing APIs for both are coming in Xcode 27, with broader rollout planned later in 2026. Offer code redemption is getting a nice cleanup too. The updated offer code redemption API now returns a verification result that gives you either a transaction on success or a detailed error on failure. Which sounds technical, and it is. But the practical point is simpler handling and fewer mystery outcomes when somebody tries to redeem a code. Both SwiftUI and UIKit now have present offer code redeem sheet methods, and Apple says this can be tested in Xcode 27 across all eligible product types. A quieter but very useful update is in App Store Connect submissions. Developers can now group multiple in-app purchase products, in-app events, and custom product pages into one review submission. Instead of juggling separate review tickets, there's a centralized status view that shows how all of it is progressing together. If you've ever had a launch blocked because one tiny piece was in a different queue, this is the kind of update that probably earns a heartfelt sigh of relief. Apple's also unifying the review API itself. The review submissions collection is expanding to include in-app purchases, subscriptions, and subscription groups, using review submission and review submission items resources in place of the older separate endpoints. The bigger story here is automation. Developers can drive the full review workflow through one API instead of stitching different systems together. There is a migration catch, though. Teams need to move over before the legacy resources are deprecated. So overall, this is one of those Apple platform updates where the flashy part is new pricing flexibility, but the deeper story is better structure underneath the whole subscription machine. For users, it should mean clearer choices. For developers, fewer weird workarounds, which, honestly, is a pretty good combination. This episode was generated by Podkey. Create your own at podkey.fm.